They say it's about progress, but what they're really building is a fast lane to unchecked power. No debate, no consent, no voice. Canada Joe Friday here with just the facts. And this is the truth about Bill C-5 they don't want you to hear.
This guy's garage. Like and subscribe.
Introduction of government bills. Mr. Leblanc, seconded by Ms. Freeland, moves to leave to introduce a bill entitled An Act to Enact the Free Trade and Labour Mobility in Canada Act and the Building Canada Act.
Hey folks, I'm Canada Joe Friday, and today I'm pissed. Bill C-5, the so-called One Canadian Economy Act, just slid through Parliament dressed up as a friendly free market bill. But behind the curtain, it's a Trojan horse for centralized control. Let's break it down. What it really does is hand the federal government sweeping power to override provinces without consent. Let's talk about who's behind this. Mark Carney, he's not just the PM. He's acting like a central planner, not a public servant. His idea of unity, one set of rules for everyone, written in Ottawa, enforced everywhere, sounds more like Beijing than Canada. In China, a few elites run the show. That's what C-5 sets up. Ottawa decides. You comply. Bill C-5 bundles two major components, the Free Trade and Labour Mobility Act. Sounds great, right? But it gives Ottawa the power to force provinces to accept standards and credentials they didn't vote for. Example. Let's say a province with high safety standards for electricians is forced to accept workers certified under looser rules from another province. That's not free trade. That's a race to the bottom on safety. The Building Canada Act, this gives Cabinet the authority to declare anything in the national interest and push it through. No full debate, no public consultation. Example. Imagine Ottawa approving a wind turbine project near farmland in Saskatchewan, overriding local council and landowner objections. Under Bill C-5, Cabinet signs off and it's done. That's central planning, not common sense. Democracy and accountability. This bill takes power away from elected MPs and hands it to unelected Ottawa insiders. If Cabinet wants a project, it gets a rubber stamp. No real accountability, no parliamentary review. Example, let's say there's a push to build high-speed rail through rural Alberta. Instead of hearing from farmers, landowners, or municipalities, Cabinet says national interest and moves it forward, just like that. This is a dangerous precedent. Government by executive order instead of democratic debate. Indigenous rights and environment. Yes, even if you support responsible development like pipelines or highways, you should be concerned. Bill C-5 could trigger years of court battles with Indigenous communities who weren't properly consulted. Example. A mining or pipeline project near First Nations land in northern Ontario could be fast-tracked without full consent. That doesn't just hurt relationships, it risks the project being tied up in courts for a decade. And the environment. Ottawa's top-down approach skips over common sense reviews that ensure projects are done right. Example, say Ottawa wants to expand a federal solar field that drains local wetlands. Normally there'd be hearings and independent science. Now, Cabinet waves it through. We need development, but it must be smart, consulted, and locally driven. Provincial rights and standards. This is where conservatives should be furious. Bill C-5 tells provinces your laws don't matter anymore. Example. If Quebec or Alberta has tougher building codes or food inspection rules, too bad. They're forced to accept whatever another province approves. That undermines local control and punishes higher standards. Or say Ontario bans a certain additive in meat processing. If another province allows it, Ontario stores may be forced to sell it anyway. That's not equality. That's federal overreach dressed up as unity. So let's be honest. Bill C-5 isn't about one economy, it's about one authority, Ottawa. It gives cabinet ministers sweeping powers to override provinces, silence landowners, ignore Indigenous partners, and erase accountability. All with a magic stamp that says Canada's interest. Canadians believe in strong provinces, strong families, and a strong democracy, not backroom decisions made in the name of speed. And subscribe to This Guy's Garage, where Canada Joe Friday stands up for common sense Canadians.